Hey guys, today I'm going to talk about the two main things that make you a good disc golfer. Now I'm going to make this two parts so I can emphasize more on the practice side later. In my opinion, these two things that make you a good disc golfer are mental game and practice. And practice translates into skill. But today we're going to talk about mental game. So mental game basically translates to you having a good or bad day and what you should be thinking about while you're playing. And this applies to you when you're in optimal condition. Not at your fittest, but when you're just not limited or injured in any way, like how you would normally be when you play. And for the sake of this video, we're going to be talking about this from a competitive viewpoint. Now before I talk about mental game, I just want to recommend that if you have trouble focusing, you should try some type of meditation. An easy type of meditation for me is binaural beats. If you want to check it out, I have one in the description that you can check out while you do some work or something. All you have to do is wear headphones and just listen to it for 15-20 minutes to start getting the effect. I would talk about how it works, but you can look that up yourself. And the cool thing is you can do this while you do some homework or something like that, so yeah, go ahead and check it out if you want. Now I just want to talk about an example of the importance of mental games. So there's a pro player, who I haven't thrown with in a long time, but he has really good skill level. He's basically pretty much better than me. He's really good at putting. He can throw a little bit farther than I can. But he has this huge problem where he gets extremely emotional as soon as he messes up. Like if he hits a tree on his drive, he'll kick his bag or throw his discs out, and he'll just throw his head on the ground, and it's basically after every mistake, after every time he misses a putt. And the thing is that he's actually never gotten top 5 at a huge tournament around here. And I believe this is purely from him just tilting after every small mistake he makes, despite his really good skill. Now before I talk about situations on the course, I just want to let you guys know that you can be a winner. And if you're okay with second place in your head or, being a loser, then you shouldn't be watching this video. Because if you're going to a competition, you only win if you get first. If you're thinking you want to get third or better, you should just sit home. You want to get first. That's what you're thinking. If you don't get first, you get second. Okay, that's not bad. But if you're thinking, hey, I want to get second place, then you should just not be playing. You should not be competing. But if you're trying to make money, that's a different story, and I'll get that into a second. And also, if you're a casual disc golfer and you're not really competing yet, some of these tips might help you get ready for your first competitions. So I'm going to go over 4 different kinds of situations. So for singles on an easy or short course, you should be thinking about the best way to park your drives under the basket. Forget about getting an ace if you want to keep your lead. One bad drive from an ace run could lead to an unexpected 3, and you don't want that. You want to get as many 2s as possible because as soon as you miss one, someone in your car is going to pass you. But of course, it's okay to go for something more risky, like an ace, if you're on a relatively safe hole with no hazards and you're behind and maybe this is a chance for you to come back. Or, it's the last hole and you have some room for error. Because you don't really want to go for the ace run ever in singles play. Mainly because, that could set up for a really tough putt. And really a 2 is more important than an ace run. But if it's the last hole and maybe you're a couple strokes ahead, maybe you want to get some extra money or just make sure that no one's really going to beat your score. You could go for an ace run, but that's really up to the player. For singles on a hard course, you need to be extremely focused. Every drive and putt counts, especially if you're going to play a hole that's 700 feet and it has some turns on it and you have to throw some safe shots. So if you have to throw a 300-foot safe shot and then maybe a 350-foot drive, you need to be focused the whole time. You don't want to throw it too far, even though it's still a decent distance. You want to throw it just right so you can get a 3. And this is normally when your card will be taking 4s and 5s more often than not. Especially if you ever played the toboggan course, which is the course they use for the Worlds. There's a lot of holes like this, so if you played there, you probably know what I'm talking about. But overall, your goal here is to get as many 3s as possible and to birdie anything under 350 feet, while not getting upset that you took a 5 over a 700-foot hole, because these things will happen all the time. And if you get upset over 2 5s that you got on these extremely hard holes that everyone else got a 3 or 4 on, you're probably going to lose the game. But almost more importantly than that, making the most of the short holes is important because you won't have this opportunity again. Most hard courses have an average of at least 400 feet, 450 feet per hole, and you most likely won't be birding many of these unless they're downhill or in the open. So take your time and really focus on getting those 2 holes that happen to be around 280 feet. Before I get into doubles, I just want to say that you guys can be a little bit more aggressive because there's 2 of you. So if you're playing on like a really hard hole where in singles you would normally just play a safe shot, maybe just talk to your partner and one of you could go for the risky 2 shot, and if you guys both miss, you'll have like a long putt. And the thing about that, you can do the same thing where one of you kind of plays it safe, and then whoever's the better putter, or maybe if you're both even, it doesn't really matter, the first person can always, lay it up, kind of still go for it, but make sure they don't go far, and then the second person can have a better run at it. Like if they have to throw a sidearm putter or something, that's a good reason to lay it up, because if they're throwing sidearm, there's a good chance they're going to go like 50 feet past if they miss. So for doubles on an easy course, this is your time to shine. It's easy to have fun with this type of situation because you and your partner should be throwing good the whole time. But stay focused, because the second you stop concentrating on your game, because you played the course hundreds of times, is the one time you mess up your run up or walk up or release time, then end up parring a hole you always birdie. This happens to me all the time if I'm having like a bad day, because like I just kind of rush into it. I don't really take my time, so this is one of the things I need to work on. But usually if I'm playing like decent, this doesn't really happen to me. I usually do pretty well. But the most important thing about playing doubles on an easy course is that in order to get first place, you got to at least shoot minus 14. If you're shooting minus 12, you're probably going to get third place at best. So keep in mind that you can only miss 4 holes. For doubles on a harder course, you and your partner need to stay concentrated the whole time and pick each other up throughout the whole game. If you miss a drive, hopefully your partner can pick it up. If your partner misses a putt and lands right behind it, you need to make sure you run it and go for it. It's important that you're ahead of the other groups on your card. And the thing is, you're not really keeping a number in your head, but if it's a really tough course, you never really know what the scores could be. But if your team is first on your card and you're playing decently well, then you might just take the win. And finally, if you're playing for money and you're not one of the 10th best in the world and you're not sponsored, you don't have all this money coming to you, you don't have your travel, food, and hotel costs covered, then I would just suggest skipping all the tournaments, unless it's at your favorite course and it's convenient for you. And instead of all that, just play as many leagues as possible, because not only are league rounds 2 to 3 hours long at max, there are plenty of healthy ace pools out there and nice CTP prizes as well. Tournaments take an entire day and need an exceptionally good turnout to be worth your time. Especially if you have to travel, you don't want to go to a tournament that has 50 people in your division. You want one that has like 150 people in your division. Maybe that'll be worth it. But not to mention that playing in leagues is a lower financial risk. Normally, buying in for a league is only like $10, but for tournaments, not only do you have to register like days or weeks before a tournament starts, but normally it's at least $50 to get in, and that's excluding all your other costs like the food and the travel, the gas, and the hotel you had to stay in overnight. Overall, leagues are just easier to make money at, mainly because you can play like 2 or 3 in one day if you're really lucky, if they have that many in your area, or you can just go to a whole bunch, maybe like 4 or 5 a week if you're really into it. And if you don't really care about winning, this is also good because you can just ace run every single hole, try to get like $200, and even if you do that, you still might have good drives and win anyways. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I will be producing some new content soon related to putting and practice, so make sure you leave a like if you made it this far, and don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.
Did it? Yeah. Oh, I thought I heard a little like, it didn't go in, but I heard another like. Oh, there it is. Hold it. Oh.